I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, October the 4th, where it's October and that means National Sick Calf Month. Those of you that are trying to straighten out calves for wheat pasture or getting in some heavy balling calves to put right on the feed know what I'm talking about. Hopefully a lot of you cow-calf producers don't, because you shouldn't have that much trouble unless you're weaning your own calves, and then there shouldn't be as much stress on them as there is for these guys that are trying to straighten up calves that's just been shipped in. But you've got shipping fever, you've got these wide temperature swings. Right now here in the Texas Panhandle, we've just had some dreary old wet, cool, nasty weather and mud here for the last 10 days or so, and it's taking its toll, and you drive around the country roads and you start seeing piles of dead calves pulled out to the highway, and it's just that time of year and you can't get around it. I remember years ago we used to straighten up whirls of them and sell them right out of the pens until we couldn't sell them no more, and then turn out the ones that we had left. But you guys remember the days where you used to put the Tylen and the B12 and the Spec Dam and whatever else you could find and put it in a big jug and shake it all up and throw that over your shoulder, and then stick the needle right in the hip, because we didn't know any better back in them days, and just start pumping it to them. Now you can give them 4 or 5 cc's of some wonder drug, albeit terribly expensive. But it's amazing how well these drugs work today, and really lucky to have them. And you know, people that say, you know, you shouldn't be using antibiotics haven't been out there watching sick calves suffer, because you got a calf, or especially people that use in animal husbandry, those of us that love cattle, you got a calf that needs doctored. You want to doctor it, and nothing makes you feel any better than catching a sick one in time, seeing him a little droopy, or his eyes not looking right, or maybe not coming up to the feed quite quick enough. And if you think he might need a shot, he probably needed a shot yesterday. And getting those calves in and giving them something, and then the next day they just blend right in with the crowd. And there's nothing that makes a guy straightening up cattle feel any better than that. But you look at the board for Tuesday, December live cattle was up $1.47 to end the day at $114.90. Your October spot live cattle is at $109.10, and hopefully we can keep the fat cattle in there pretty close to steady, and it should be real close to that $109.10, somewhere in the $108 to $109 area. November feeder cattle up $2.70 on Tuesday to end the day at $154.30. Of course, no trade on fats yet. Got the Fed Cattle Exchange coming up here Wednesday morning. Got 1,700 and some cattle on there. We'll see what the packers decide to do there, but shouldn't expect anything other than about steady. We've got kind of a nice balance between supply and demand right now. These packers are slaughtering a lot of cattle. They're selling the meat right along. The feedlot's got several cattle to sell. We're into a new month, so they've got new contracts to pull. So that's going to be kind of tough, but we've seen these cattle feeders dig in pretty deep, because they don't have any kind of a basis to work off of to help them get to a break even, and a lot of these cattle aren't quite washing right now. So there's a good chance that we're probably going to rock along here steady for a while. You look at the feeder cattle markets, real-time index on Beef Market Central based on the 800-pound steer, all off automated cattle auction information there. Ended the day late on Tuesday at 153.83. That was down just 59 cents, mostly because we had a lot of calf offerings in from up north on Tuesday, and heavy enough to get into that RTI, which is 700 to 899 pounds, and that's going to pull it down just a little bit compared to the yearlings that they sold on Monday. But you look at OKC West calf sales, still haven't seen the big runs of calves there at El Reno, but 2,500 head on Tuesday. They'll have the yearling offering here on Wednesday. But steer calves $2 to $4 lower, heifer calves $1 to $2 lower. We're starting to see the temperatures turn a little bit, and even though we've got a lot of demand for calves and a lot of places to turn them out, it looks like towards the first to middle part of November, there's going to be lots of places to turn cattle out on wheat. This wheat is really going to be good. But they're ordering calves out of the southeast, or doing something, just waiting and not quite ready to buy calves. The calf deal has not taken off yet, and there may be enough supplies of calves that we won't see it take off. Although most of your calves are going to be heavier calves. You remember all those videos they were having back in the summertime, and just 3-4 days, every single video market was having huge sales, whether it was Superior or Northern or Western or Cattle Country. Any of them were just having huge videos. Well, the majority of those cattle on there were calves to sell this fall with October delivery. Well, those cattle are going places right now. They're filling all the holes. So just because we're just now starting to see them in the sales doesn't mean they're not already being delivered and starting to clog up a lot of the holes that we have for calves. But you look at a big calf market on Tuesday, Phillips, South Dakota, have 5,700 head there. You can watch it every Tuesday there on dvauction.com. Last week they had 7,500 head. But you look, even the big fancy calves that they have and the big strings of ranch calves they have up in that country, those weighing over 500 pounds, you look on the report there, look $2 to $6 lower. The lighter weight peewee calves under 500 pounds, $2 to $3 higher. So you notice that there is more demand for the stocker calves and not quite as much for the feeder calves. But look at some popular weights. Had 1,080 head of full weight steers, averaging $457 at $200.66. That was up a little over $2 compared to the weighted average last week. Almost 1,870 head of 5-weight steer calves, and I tell you what, they would have been the kind that reading right there. 556 head there, averaged $178.42, and that was down almost $7 compared to the weighted average just last week. So you're seeing them starting to pull back just because we have just sheer numbers of these heavy 5- and 6-weight calves that are going all over the country. But an individual quote down in Kansas there at a good test of the market, Fredonia, Kansas, before 5 o'clock in the evening, had 118 steers, weighed 859 at 155.50. That's your feeder flash for Wednesday.